We always have some weird weather this time of year, warm days, cold days, but we know winter sure isn't far away. To find out what homeowners can do to stay warm and maybe even save some money, I talked to Dave Cook.
I always like to recommend that one of the best ways to kind of start the process of eliminating drafts is to go outside and just assess the condition of areas that might allow air to come through the wall. Around windows, around doors, and other areas where you might see failing caulk and things of that nature that are pretty easy to correct. And that's step one. So go outside, assess, take care of the exterior, then move inside. And I think one of the best ways to check if there's still some cool drafts that might be occurring in the home is to take a candle, light a candle, and work your way around window frames, windows, doors, things of that nature, and find if there are still, if you see a flickering flame, you're going to know that there's some moving air and that there's probably a draft. That sometimes would indicate if the caulk has been taken care of, that replacement of those things might be needed.
So how much money potentially do you think people could save if they have more energy efficient windows and doors?
Well, that's a great question. We've seen, over the years that oftentimes and it does depend on the condition of your current windows, but if you replace all of the windows in the home at once, or windows, doors, even better yet, kind of encapsulating and tightening the envelope of the home, that people can see 30, sometimes even 40% savings in an energy bill. And when things are talking about going up 50%, that could be a significant savings.
Yeah, and even if you're talking about taking the pressure off of your furnace, because that is expensive to replace.
Expensive to replace, even maintain. So, that's absolutely correct.
What about the cost of materials? Because I think that's what people are going to shy away from a little bit.
Well, we have some great savings going on right now with regards to materials, but I mean, that's a great question. We hear about supply chain issues and everything.
Yeah.
That said, everything is going along pretty well, and we're doing the best under the circumstances that we can, and we can still get things done this year.
And I would wonder too, some people may have moved into their house just 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and so kind of ignored that. How often should people be checking these things?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with just your general comfort, right? And how you feel when you're in your home.
Yeah.
Not just the energy efficiency of it, but some people will realize after a period of time that, maybe they'd like to update the look and other things. So there may be a number of reasons that you'd want to consider that, but it's a pretty straightforward process.
Because of where we live, we get harsher winters too. Are there certain things that you should look at with your current windows to say, all right, maybe I need to upgrade these because they don't really fit Chicago winters?
Well, as you mentioned Chicago winters, we're in the upper Midwest, so one of the neat things about our products is they're designed specifically for the upper Midwest, Chicago's extremes, if you will, hot summers, cold winters. We've got features designed into the window that are highly energy efficient, multi-chambered frames, high-tech glass that has both low-E coatings and argon gas fill, and the combination of that really gives you some of those enhanced energy efficiencies.
Yeah, because I know my house was built in the 80s, and so I'm sure the technology has changed, so even if it's not the thing I want to do right now, it's probably something to look into because it still could end up saving me a lot of money.
Absolutely.
All right, Pelco has a couple of great offers going on right now. 50% off windows and 20% off doors, both with no interest for 1 year. You can visit the website on your screen for more information or give Pelco a call to set up an appointment.
Yeah, that's important this time of the year.
Yeah.
That rain the other day showed how many leaks I got in mine.
Oh, you gotta work on it.